Hello. 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 Hello.
What motivates you about your
Hello.
Hello. Hi everyone, can you hear me? Hello. Wait. So starting with how to open up your project from yesterday. So Opo already. Are we ready?
Yes. Yes, we
All
are
right.
ready.
Yes. That's already.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, Uncle Tessin, over to you. So I think you'll start with how to open up the project they did yesterday so that they can just continue from there.
All right then. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Happy
evening.
happy Easter to us all.
Same
I
to
hope we've
you.
had
Same to you.
a great day so far. So quickly, let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So to get started, you look for BuildBox on your laptop. You look for BuildBox. If I can you see BuildBox here? If you look on your desktop, you should see BuildBox, because if you remember very well, when we were installing BuildBox, we said the icon, our BuildBox icon, should be on our desktop. So that's why it is here on our desktop. So once you can find the BuildBox icon on your desktop, double click on it to launch BuildBox. Have you been able to do that?
Yes.
All right then. So that means you should have BuildBox up now. Have you been able to open up BuildBox?
Yes.
All right then. Awesome. Awesome. So now the next thing you do is, if you look over to your left, you will see the recent projects you've opened with BuildBox. And you can see that the file extension of BuildBox is there. What's the file extension of BuildBox projects? Who can tell us? The file extension of our BuildBox projects. Anybody? I can remember we talked about file extension during the first day. So can anybody tell us what the a BuildBox project file extension is? Anybody?
And can anybody remember? So we said, okay, like when we're saving our BuildBox project, that is something it ends with. So can someone like tell us what that is? There's even an expo for us there, if you can see.
Exactly. If you
There's an
can see it.
expo. Does anybody want to say it? Timniola, do you want to try? David, do you want to try? So nobody wants to try. Nobody remembers. Okay, let's help them out.
All right then. So, like we said in our first class, the file extension of our BuildBox project is .bbdoc. Can you see it here? If you look to the left where my cursor is, can you see flappybox.bbdoc? So yes, the file extension is .bbdoc. You know, when you look at your pictures on your computer, after your the name of your picture, you see .jpg or .png or .jpeg. So those are file extensions. So the file extension, the name for the file extension of our BuildBox project is .bbdoc. So anywhere you see a file and it ends with .bbdoc, you know that it is what? You know it is a BuildBox project. So all right then, so let's open up our Flappy Box project. So if you go to the left side of your home tab, you would see the flappybox.bbdoc there. So just click on it and it will load our project that we saved there yesterday. Have we been able to do that?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on. Let's go to our mind map. If you remember yesterday, we were going through our mind map. We start from the start node. That's the first thing you see when you launch your game. Then we went to our main menu UI. If you can remember, where we edited the name of our game and we edited the background of the image in our what's it called, in our main menu UI. So who can remind me, what is a splash screen? Who can remind me what is a splash screen? We talked about a splash screen yesterday. Who can remind me what is a splash screen?
It's like we're eating Easter rice and we've forgotten some of the things we did yesterday. Okay, so can anyone remember? So when you say splash screen, can you remember what it means, or do you know an example?
Can anybody try? What is a splash screen? Okay, without wasting too much of our time, let me just show us what a splash screen is. You know, when you know, like I said yesterday, when you open up your game, the first thing you see, the first screen you see on your game is called a splash screen. It is called a splash screen. That's like the first thing you see on your game. It's called a splash screen. That's the very first thing you see on your game. Like when you launch this game now, you first see this particular screen here with this your logo and built on BuildBox. Like for example, when you're playing a game like Candy Crush, that first screen you see when you just open the Candy Crush app and you launch it, you would see a orange background screen like this where you have King written on it. So that's the splash screen of that game. So a splash screen is the first screen you see when you launch your game. That's what a splash screen is. Did we get that? All right then, awesome. So now, this was where we stopped yesterday, our main menu UI. Now we have been able to edit the name of our game and we've been able to change the color of our image background. But what happens when we click on this button here? Who can tell me what happens when we click on this button here?
It plays.
Awesome, thank you very much. So it plays, it takes us to our 2D world where we get to play our game. Awesome, thank you very much. So now, this particular one here is a navigation button. That is what allows it to play. So when you click on it, what does it do? It takes us to our 2D world. Yes, it plays, exactly, something like that. Yes, we are on the same path. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So if we go back to our mind map here, you see that once you click on this navigation button, where does it take you to? It takes you to the 2D world. Can you see that? From the start, once the start loads, it takes you to what? The main menu UI. Then from the main menu UI, once you do what? Once you click on this navigation button, it takes you where? To the 2D world. Then from the 2D world, you have like these two other nodes. But let's consider our 2D world now. This is the main. So now to launch our 2D world, you can double click on this from here or just go to this tab here if you have it opened. So from your mind map, you can double click, or else you can always click on this tab here. So you can close the main menu UI tab now. That's because we are done with it. So are we all on the same page?
Yes.
Okay, so on our mind map, let's double click on 2D world. Double click on 2D world to open this. Okay. How many of us are
Now,
there? Have we all done that? Emmanuel,
Yes.
Eminola, have we done that?
Yes, ma.
All right.
okay then. So let's move forward. Now, like okay, David, you have your hand raised.
Is
Is there
it the
any
blue?
problem?
Is it the blue one or the green one?
The blue one, the 2D world, the 2D world, the blue one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now moving on. Like we explained before, this is our 2D world, and these are some of the things we can like make use of to create our own imagination, our own world. If you look to the leftmost panel here, this is our asset panel where we have what? We have different objects that we can turn around with. If you look at these icons here, you see a triangle, a circle, and a square. That's because what we are working on is a what? A 2D game. Yes or no?
Yes.
Awesome. So now, if we look at this place, we have about 4 different categories here. There are different categories. The first category is the characters category. That's, for example, the player you want to make use of. But before we dive into that, let's preview the current game and see how it looks like. So click on preview to see how the current game looks like. When you press play, what happens? Can you try to play the current game and see how it looks like? Can you see?
Yes.
It just exactly. So we have what's the main objective of this game is to ensure that you are moving through the space without hitting these red enemies and not touching the brown boundaries as well, while you gain more points. And as you collect these yellow circles, you gain more points. So let's go through that again. The main aim of this game is that you continue navigating your way forward without hitting those red triangular enemies and always collecting points from these yellow circles. So as you can see, as I'm touching those yellow circles, my points are increasing. Can you see 1, 2? Wow, and I hit the red enemy. So you can see that as I touch the yellow circles, I'm getting 1 point, but as I touch the red triangles, I am hitting the enemy and I am losing the game. And as well, when I hit the top or the bottom, like you can see here, sorry. When I hit the top or the bottom, my character scatters and I lose the game. So now, with that, we have a basic gameplay already. So that means we have a character that is going up and down. Then we have a boundary, and we also have what? We also have an enemy. So now let's have a look at it together. In our assets panel here, we have the player. This is the player here. click on the player. Have you been able to do that?
Yes.
All right then. So if you go to the rightmost side of the player here, you will see the different properties of the player there. Those are the different properties that makes up the player there. All these different properties make up the player there. You have your physics. So what is physics? Physics is basically how the objects, that player, how it interacts with the world. It's the simulation of physics in our game. Like when I hit something, what will happen? Like if you remember very well, when the player character hits the boundary, it's scattered. So that is simulating physics. So we have so many properties here that we'll be touching as we move on. So many of them here that we'll be touching as we move on. Then for other characters, we have the background. The background is this blue, deep blue color in between here. Then we also have the boundary. The boundary is the one that is set up and down here. We also have this. This is what, when we touch, it gives us points. This was what was giving us our score. And this enemy is the enemy, that red triangle that we hit that other time, that made our player scatter. Then we have debris. Now what this debris is, you know that time when we eat, let me try to preview it for you again. Immediately you eat the enemy or the boundary, you can see all these boxes that are scattered, all those squares that are scattered on the floor. That's the debris. It's like the aftermath of an explosion. So that means that's the scattered form of my player. That's basically what the debris is, the scattered form of my player after hitting an enemy or the boundary or an obstacle, basically. So those are the game objects we have in this scene here. So if we come to our main 2D world here, this place where we have world, 2D world, we have our camera. Who can tell us what the camera does in our game? What's the function of the camera in our game?
It's our eyes.
Exactly. Clap for yourself, please. That's our eyes. The camera is the eyes through which we see our game. It's what displays what is on our screen for us. It's the camera that sees everything. Now, to see how the camera works here, once you click on the camera, from here, you can check out the position of the camera. So now, if you can see this, can you see this? This particular highlight here shows the position of the camera. Let me click on the camera again. If you move the camera, if you move it anyhow, it's how you move it that's going to show in your preview. So if we change the position of the camera now, let's set it to 2. Can you see? Once you change the position of the camera here, it's going to affect how the game sees our camera. Can you see it here? Can you see our camera has changed position?
Yeah.
So what do? We ensure that we maintain the same camera across. Good. So now we have the light and sun too, which is not really affecting like that because we are making use of a 2D space, but we can always play around with the color of our, what's it called? The color of our sun. Now, if you noticed, because we changed this to green, our background is starting to look somewhat like a green background. Let's play this and see how it looks like. Can you see? And our character has changed to what? From yellow, it has changed to Arab, like something like lemon green. Who can tell me why? Anybody?
All right, David, go ahead. Unmute.
David, we can hear you.
Because you change the color of the sun.
Exactly. Clap for yourself. It's because I changed the color of the sun. That's why everything is looking green, because it's affected by the color of the sun. If we change the color of the sun to somewhat, let's say, like a red now, you see that it would also affect the characters and the background generally. So can you see this? This is like the effects of what a red sun would actually look like. So let's change the color of our sun back to white, so our game stays the way we want it to be. Can you see now? We are back to the way our game was meant to be. All right then. So moving on. What is the start and the end? The start and the end is basically where this particular scene will start from. This is where it will start from and where it would end. This is basically where it would end. And like our player that we've explained before, this is our player here in the middle. You can see the position set to 0, 0, and the scale set to 0.5, 0.5. Now, if you remember very well, when we were working with, when I showed you that first 3D project, you can remember that we had X, Y, and Z for a 3-dimensional cube. But here, what do we have? We have just X, Y. Who can tell me why? Anybody? Hello?
All right, David, go ahead.
Because it's a 2D game.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, because it is a 2D game. That is why we are seeing X and Y here. Awesome. Awesome. So now this is our boundaries. This is the first boundary and this is the second boundary here. Can you see it? The first boundary and the second boundary. You can just use controls. If you made mistake by shifting anything away, let's say for example, you went to click on the boundary and shifted it down here, you can just press Ctrl Z to return it back to its position, its former position. And this is our background here too as well. Can you see that everything is scattered? But we were the ones that arranged everything together. Can you see? So what you can just do is press Ctrl Z until it looks like it is back to where it is meant to be. Awesome. So now, this is this particular scene. But you are wondering, when we play this game, where do all these circles and triangles come from? It looks quite strange, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So now, the next thing we'll be going to is trying to see where these circles and triangles come from, so that we can have a better understanding of how this thing works. Now, we have something called scenes. So if you look to the bottom center here of our screen, you see something called the scene selector. And the explanation here says, select the scene you would like to edit. You can also duplicate a scene, solo a scene, or mute a scene. Now, let me explain what it means to duplicate a scene, to solo a scene, and to mute a scene. Now, what it means by duplicating is, let's say, for example, I have this start scene here. This is the start scene here. This is scene 1. Now, are you seeing the triangle? Can you see the triangle? The red triangle now?
Yes.
For scene 1. Good. Now, look at scene 2. It has a triangle and a point. Now, if you look at this place, you can see the point here. You can see the enemy here. If you go back to scene 1, you can just see the enemy here and see the point here as well. See the point here. Then you go to scene 3, you can see the position of the enemy here and the point here too. Then we go to scene 4, you can see the position here and the position of the enemy here. If you go to scene 5, you can see it here. You can see it here. Go to scene 6, you can see it here. You can see it here. Good. So now, what I would want us to do is, let's see how we can duplicate a scene. So now click on scene 6. Just click on this 6 like this. Click on 6. Have you been able to click on 6?
Yes.
Now press the button D on your keyboard to duplicate that scene 6. So you should have 2 scene 6 in your projects right now. And they should look exactly the same thing. That's how you duplicate a scene. Have you been able to do that?
No.
All right, you said we should upgrade to Pro to use the letter D.
Just press the letter D.
It says upgrade to Pro.
Upgrade to Pro to do what?
To use this picture.
I'm not using a Pro version. I'm using a free version too. So that should work. Click on 6, then press D. On what platform are you? Are you on this platform?
Okay, Temniola, yes.
I pressed on D.
Okay.
And it says, how do you want to open this?
How do you want to what?
Open this.
How do you want to what? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Open it.
It shouldn't be showing you that. Once you click on, please look at my screen again. Once you click on the scene 6 here, just press down D.
Should I press OK?
What did I didn't get what you said.
I said, how do you want to open this?
To open what? You shouldn't be opening anything.
But should I press OK?
Cancel it, please. Cancel
Is
it.
there a cancel? Can you say cancel?
Can you see cancel?
No.
Okay, what other thing can you see apart from okay?
I can only see a button says OK.
All right, click on it.
Click on OK.
I've removed it now.
Okay, so what happened? Did your scene 6 duplicates? Do you have how many scene 6 do you have now?
I only have one.
Just one. Okay, what about you, David? What happened?
It is saying how upgrade to Pro.
The Pro. Okay. Yeah, so just I'm not the only one saying upgrade to Pro to use letter D. Or is there or do we
That's
need to
very
or
shocking.
do we need to do maybe on Mac? David, are you using a MacBook? A MacBook or a Windows?
Are you using a MacBook
What's
or a
the name
Windows?
of your laptop?
Windows 10.
Windows. What's the name of your laptop?
Dell.
Dell. No, okay,
Yes,
Dell
I'm
is
using
Windows.
Dell too.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Windows. D is not
Wow.
working.
Okay,
Alright,
you know what?
Can
Try
we
to
right
click
click?
on 6. Try to right click on 6 and click on duplicate.
Where's duplicate?
Duplicate is copying and is creating another scene just like that 6, but they are identical. That's what duplicating is. Duplicating is just copying and pasting a particular scene or
Okay, so
anything in general.
alright, just click on number 6, scene 6. Right click on it. Right click. You know how to right click, right?
Right
Yeah,
click
so
on scene
right
6. You
click,
see duplicate.
then you see duplicate.
Is
Then press
it TCRL?
No, you are not pressing
DUPLI.
Control D. Just right click.
Right click.
It's still saying upgrade to Pro.
Yeah, I'm also getting upgrade to Pro Tosin. I think it's a Pro feature to duplicate.
I'm not using a Pro account. That's why it's quite shocking.
So what's wrong?
I'm using a BuildBox free account as well. That must be a glitch or something. I'm using a BuildBox free account as well.
Wow. Okay, Timiola, click on number 6. Right, click on it.
I've done that.
Did you see duplicates? Is the first option there?
Okay. Is
Are
it on
you?
the keyboard?
No.
It's not on the keyboard. Just right
click
click on
with your mouse. You know how
with
to
your
right
mouse.
click with your mouse. Can you right click with your mouse?
Click with your mouse. I'll
Do you know
press
how?
it.
I didn't say you should press shift. Don't press shift. Do you know how to right click on your laptop?
No.
So you've not been able to right click at all on your laptop.
Yes.
All right, look below your keyboard. You will see 2 pointed buttons, like 2 buttons, where the
I'll click
mouse
the
pad, are. All right, so right click. It's the one on the right.
Okay.
All right, so right click on it. Do you see duplicates now?
Yes.
All right, click on duplicate. So what does it tell you?
Loading. Up
Okay.
degree now.
You what?
Up degree now. That's what I saw on my laptop now.
I can't hear you. What do you see?
I see up degree.
No, you're not supposed to do that. I don't know where you are right now.
Let me write it in the chat.
All right, so Emmanuel is also seeing upgrade to pro. All right, so we're not able to do the duplicate.
Okay. All right, then that's fine. That's fine. I'll share that with the BuildBox team and see if it's a new issue. Maybe it's with newly registered accounts or something.
All right.
Okay. So moving on, what we'll just make use of is our current scenes that we have. What we'll just make use of is our current scenes that we have. So not to waste too much time, let's get started with remixing what this game could look like. First things first, let's click on our background. Now, double click on your background from the assets panel. Once you double click on it, it will take you to this way. It will take you to the node map. Sorry. I still see my screen.
What do you want? Talk to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So now, double click on, let me start again. Double click on the background here. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, double click on this background. It should take you to the node map. This is our node map here. This is not our mini map. This is our node map. Our node map is different from our mini map. Well, our sorry, I said our mini map, our mind map. Our mind map shows us the whole overview of our game with like the different worlds that we have, the different worlds, the UI screens and all. But what our mind map does, our node map does is it shows us specific characteristics of each of our game objects, of our assets from our 2D world. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right then. So from this our node map, we can edit certain properties of our assets. Now, the one I clicked on was background. The one I clicked on was background, and from here we can see that we can edit certain properties of our background, like what our background color. So look at this from here. If you click on the properties panel of our background, you can just change the color to whatever you want it to be. Can you see that? You can change it to whatever color you want it to be. So I'm going to be changing mine to like a light blue. So can you see this? So once I click on OK and I go back to my tutorial, can you see that it has changed? So I would want us to change the color of our background now. Are we all following?
Yes.
Good. So I would like us to change the color of our background. Who has been able to do that?
All right,
Me.
Tosin, can you, when you go to background, where do they change the color?
So when you double click on
Double
background,
click.
you
Okay.
click on the 3D model
3D
node.
model. Okay.
Then from 3D model node,
color.
you go to color. Then from color, you can just change
All right.
to any color you want. Then after changing the color, click on OK.
You say you don't want.
So have we been able to do that?
Yes.
I think I will be switching mine to
See, another one is coming.
I could switch mine to a white. So a white background. Let's see how it looks like. Yes, I could switch mine to maybe an off-white background, not necessarily something like this. Now, what the next thing we'll do is, would anybody like to change the color of our boundary? Can you guys try that out without even me doing that? You've been able to change the color of our background from here. What did we do? We double clicked on our background. We went to the 3D model of our background and we went to change it. Anybody be able to like work on that of the boundary? And let's see what you come up with. Anyone? I'll be waiting for you guys. Anyone?
Okay, so can someone describe for me, okay, the way we've changed the color of our background. So if you want to change the color of our boundary, what should we do? Who wants to give it a try?
If you go to boundary,
Okay, how do you go to boundaries?
In your 2D world,
Okay. I double click on boundary, okay. So when I double click on boundary, what next?
click on
Which
3D model.
Awesome.
3D node? Awesome. Then change the color. Yeah, you guys are doing
All right
great.
then. Awesome. I think we're able to figure that out. Y'all should clap for yourselves. That's quite amazing. So now I think I'll be changing mine to like black. And let me see how it looks like. So once you are done with the notes, you can close it. So I've changed mine to like this black. And now the next thing would be our point. So if you've been able to do for your background and your boundary, you can change that of your point as well, and your enemy. So go to point, click on it and change it as well. Now you might see quite a number of things in your points, but I just want you to focus on the 3D model and ensure that you don't touch any other thing aside that.
where should you go to for the points?
It's the same way you did the boundary. Double click on the points and it will take you to the node map of the points. And from there, you can edit the color of the 3D model.
Okay.
So I could change mine to black. Change mine to black. And for my own enemy as well, do the same thing for your enemy too. And the color of my enemy, I'll leave that as a red. I'll leave it as a red. And once I'm done, I can mix it here, and mix it here. So you've been able to do the same for boundary point and enemy. Have we all been able to do that?
Yes.
All right then. So for me, I'm changing it to the color I prefer that would look good. I could click on my player too, double click on the player. You might see quite a bunch of other nodes there. Just ensure you look for the 3D model node, and that is what you should edit the color. So I'm changing mine to black. Then now, once you are done with that, let's try to preview our game and now see how it looks like. Have we all been able to do that?
Yes.
If yes, then let us preview our game. Preview your game and see how it looks like. And you see how different our game looks like right now. You can see this.
Yeah, so how many of us see that the color of our game has changed? Yeah, good.
So can you see how interesting it is to work with BuildBox 10? Now, we have something totally different from what we had earlier already. And with this, we can continue working on it to see how our game can actually look much more better. Now, another thing I would like to do to keep the visual appearance of the thing of my game is go back to my main menu UI. Once I double click on this, it takes me here. Instead of having this color, I'll try to get a black color instead. So let's see how we can achieve that. Exactly. So now I have black color. Can you see this? So now once I preview my game, it's starting to fit in the black and white theme. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see how different my game actually looks right now? Even without changing the mechanics of the game yet, it looks already different from what we had before. Can you see this?
Yes.
Exactly. So how many of us have been able to change how our game looks like?
I've changed mine.
Okay, so what colors did you change them to?
Sir,
I said, what colors did you change them to?
I changed my own to purple and light blue.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's continue to dive into our 2D world and see other things that we can do.
Okay. Does anyone want to share their screen to show us what they've
Awesome.
done?
Would anybody like to share their screen?
All right, Timina, do you want to share your screen? Let's have a look at what you've done. Okay, so you can stop sharing.
All right,
Timina,
then.
click on share screen. And you see share screen.
Yes, I'm coming.
So David says he's lost. David, are you still lost?
David, what should you encounter?
David, unmute yourself. Okay, David, what's wrong?
My BuildBox app closed.
The BuildBox app closed. Okay. Have you been able to open it now?
Yes.
All right. So where are you?
I can't find what I was doing.
Okay. You can't find your Flappy box anymore.
I can't.
Okay. When you open BuildBox, if you look to your left, you should see recent files. You should see it there. Do you see it there?
Yes.
All right. So click on it and open it. Double click on it and open it. Then just go ahead. Go to 2D world. From 2D world, go to double click on background, 3D model, change the color, double click on boundaries, double click on points, and also double click on enemy. So everyone remember, as you keep working, don't forget to save your game. So we taught you yesterday how to save Control Z. No, Control S. All right. So always remember to save your games. Always remember to save your games. Don't forget. So in case your laptop closes or shuts down, always remember to save your game. Like at different points while you're working. If you do any new thing, try to save your game. Okay. All right. So David, are you getting it now?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So try to catch up. Change the color of your elements and let's know. All right, Teminola, can you share your screen? Can you click on share screen?
Okay. Coming.
All right. Oh, okay. You're using Zoom on your phone. Oh, don't worry. All right, don't worry then. Stop sharing. Stop sharing screen.
I'm coming, please.
Stop sharing your screen, friend. All right. Okay. What you need to do, you can just turn on your video. Click on start video. And turn on your video. Yeah, and then like face it towards your laptop. Turn your phone towards your laptop. So we see what you did. Okay. All right, position it well so we can see. Lower. All right, play the game for us. Play. Okay, so all right, so you're using blue, if I'm right.
Yes.
Did I say blue? Okay, blue, and what did you change it to?
That I changed it to purple and light blue.
Purple and light blue.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's fine.
Well
That's
done.
awesome. Well done. Well done.
Okay,
Thank
Emmanuel.
you very much.
Emmanuel, do you want to show us yours? You can unmute.
I'm not
Okay,
ready.
Emmanuel, you're not ready.
I'm not ready, yes.
All right, no problem. All right, David, what about you? Have you been able to catch up?
Yes.
All right, do you want to show us yes? All right, so click on share screen. Just come to Zoom here. Yeah, click on share screen. Awesome. All right, so preview your game. Click on preview to play. Yeah. Okay, what's happening? I'm not sure. I'm not seeing the preview screen. All right, is the preview screen showing for you, David? Oh, okay. Is
Hi,
it blank?
David.
Is
Are
it
you
blank
sure you
for
are sharing your entire screen or you're just
screen?
sharing one
Okay.
tab on BuildBox? Try to share your entire screen.
Entire screen. Okay. All right, David, stop sharing. Stop sharing. And then. All right, but we can just look at it from. All right, so stop sharing. Then click on share again. When you click on share, make sure you click on entire screen, like entire desktop. Click on share.
Can't find it.
You can't find it. All right, no problem. I can see the changes you made. It's fine. All right, let's continue. Don't worry. You all will be. You can take screenshot of your games and share with me. Okay.
Okay.
All right then.
All
So
right.
let's continue. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So one last thing we'll be doing for today is creating more dynamic to our game. For example, you know, here in our scene 2, in our first scene, sorry, besides the start scene, in our first scene here, we have a red triangle. We have our points. But now what we will do is this point here, we are going to press Control D on our keyboard. Try pressing Control D on your keyboard to duplicate it. Control D on your keyboard. Click on point. This is point here. Click on point. Ensure that it is points that you are clicking on, not the camera. Click on point. And you can see that the point is at 0 on the X and 0 on the Y. Click on it and press Control D on your keyboard. And once you press Control D on your keyboard for that other point, change the X value to 0, and the Y value to -2, or rather still -3. Can you see this? Hello, did we all get that?
No.
Okay, so let me go over it again. So what we are trying to do now is trying to create a much more different system from what we had before. Like, we are now trying to change the mechanics of our game and how our game actually looks like. So what we can do is click on point from our outliner here. This is our hierarchy, and press Control D. What does Control D do? Control D simply duplicates our point assets there, and from there you can always just drag it. But to ensure uniformity, what do I mean by uniformity? So everything is in the right place. Just go to your properties bar on the right side and change the X position to 0 and the Y position to -3, and press enter. So are we able to do that?
Where do you get the black circle?
This is it here. You know, we had one initial point here before.
Yes.
This point here, that's the one in this middle here. So what you do is click on that point again. Once you are clicking on it, press Control D. hold down control on your keyboard and press D to duplicate it. Then you should get this second one here.
Is it the one that is left or right?
Do you have can you see this on your scene 1? Go to scene 1. Scene 1 from the bottom of your screen here. Go to scene 1. You know you have scene 1. Then from scene 1, go to points. Click on points here.
I've clicked on points.
Now press control, hold down control on your keyboard and press D.
Control on my laptop.
Then press.
I'm using Dell.
Yeah, using what?
Dell.
It will not be a problem. Just hold down control and press D.
Terminal control is on your keyboard is spelled CTRL.
CTRL.
So CTRL. So hold CTRL key down. Can you find the key called control now? Can you find it?
Yes.
All right, so hold it down and click on D. D to control D. Okay.
I've seen 2 points now.
All right.
So you have 2
awesome.
points now. Awesome.
Now click on that second point. Okay, let's wait.
David.
I've done
David, what
mine.
about you? You've done yours. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right.
That's my
Continue. Yeah, just hold on. Once you have 2 points, yeah, it will tell you what to do with the second one.
Okay.
All right, Tosin.
All right, then now with this your circle, click on that second circle that you just created by duplicating. Go to the X, the position on the X, and change it to 0. And on Y, change it to -3. -3, not 3. -3. That's -3. And you should see the position of your second point down below here.
I cannot see my second point again.
Have you changed the X to 0?
Yes.
Then go to the Y and change the Y to -3. Definitely you will see it.
I've done that.
All right, then can you see your points below now?
Sir?
Can you see that your points below now? That your second circle below?
I cannot hear you clearly.
Your
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay. So your point should be below now. Okay. So there should be 1 point up. Then there's another thing down. There's another point down with some boxes around it because you're selecting it. Is that what you see?
No, only see 2 points here.
Yes, you only see 2 points. Okay, click on the second point. One should be on top, one should be up, one should be down.
I cannot see my second point too.
You cannot see your what?
My second point.
All right, does it look like what is showing on Tosin's screen now? Is this what you see? That's what you see.
The camera. I cannot see any second top.
It's not camera, it's a point. You're holding it, that's why. Wait, what you see, is this exactly what you see?
No, it's only my second point I cannot see.
Now click on. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Go to your hierarchy. Can you see 2 points here like this? 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you see these 2 here? 2 points. Not on your scene editor, your hierarchy here. Can you see 2 points like this? Look at my screen. Can you see 2 points like this?
Yes.
Now click on the first one. Can you see it on your screen the way mine is selected here?
No.
Good. Now go to position and change the X value to 0. Press enter. Go to the Y value and change it to -3.
I've done that.
Then you should see it.
I've done that before.
And you cannot still see your point.
Yes.
Please click on that point again and check the properties bar. Are you seeing the same thing I am seeing here? Do you have your X to be 0 and your Y to be -3?
Yes.
Yeah, the point is there. She's probably just saying it with. All right, click outside. Tosin, click outside your point. All right, Teminola, click outside anywhere in the box area. Click anywhere in the box area. Can you see 2 points now?
I can see 2 points.
All right, that are up and down. One is up, one is down.
I'm clicking it, but I don't want to answer.
I didn't say you should click on it. Click outside of it. I want you to be clicking outside. Can you see? Wait, what can you see? Can you see exactly what is showing on Tosin's screen?
Almost.
Almost. Wait, what can you see? Can you see your enemy? Your enemy is red, right? Teminola, are you hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see your enemy, the red one?
Yes.
Can you see a black point?
Is it at the middle?
Yes, at the middle.
No.
Eh?
No.
So what can you see at the middle there? You can see
The
what?
camera is overlaying that point there. That's why you are not seeing that point. But you should be able to see this circle that is round about it. It's there.
It's
If
there
you
already.
click on
Let's
points from your
continue.
hierarchy, you would
Yeah,
see
she
it there.
can see it. It's there already.
Exactly. So now, with this, we are already changing the dynamics of our game. If we go to scene 2, we can do the same thing that we did in scene 1 here in scene 2 by doing what? Clicking on this other point here and duplicating it using Control D. And instead of having it here now at this X of 2 and Y -3, what we can do is change it to 0 and 0. And what does that do? It takes that other point to the center. Just the same way we did for here. We are doing the same thing here too as well.
So this is just if you want to change some certain things about your game. Or if you want to leave your game like the same way, yeah, you can always do that. But yes, if you want to customize your game, change the dynamics, yes, you can.
So now
You can do
if we
it
try
like this.
to preview our game, please give me a minute.
And Silver Gallery there now.
You're in, Abi. Let's go.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's try to preview our game right now and see how it looks like. So now we have Flappy Box by Oluwatosin in black and white. And once we click on this, can we notice the difference now? Can you see those ones where we have 2? Can you see that? So now it makes our game look a little bit different. Then what we can always do again is, instead of leaving it as just points that you can earn, let's try something else. Why don't we add enemies as well? Add more enemies instead of having just more points. We have scene 1 and scene 2 having 2 points. Let's try to make scene 3 and scene 4 have what? 2 enemies. So now what you can do here is click on enemy and press Control D again. And instead of this being 2, change it to 0. and change this to what? +3. You can just type in 3 there, and it changes it to this.
So we're trying to increase the number of enemies and number of points showing on different scenes.
Exactly.
Okay. So different scenes. So have different number of enemies, different number of points.
So for these two, we can like click on enemy and press Ctrl D to duplicate. And guess what? We've used these details for like the points in like our first scene already. So you can just set this to 0 and this to -3 and type in enter. So now if we try to preview our game, you can see that it will look a little different from what we had earlier. Can you see this? It's starting to look a little different from what we had earlier. Although we've not encountered the one with 2. Yeah, that's it there. Can you see? Now that makes it gives it a little bit of difficulty. Can you see? When starting out again.
Excuse me, you're too fast.
So Terminal, it's the same thing, the same way you did. Just go to your different scenes, whichever one you want to increase, you can just duplicate. Without your enemy, you can duplicate, whether you duplicate your enemy or you duplicate your points, right? Just to increase the difficulty.
Exactly.
But if you don't want to do it, you can always leave it the same way. But yeah, just to spice up your game, yeah, to increase the difficulty, go to any of your scenes, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, any one of them. You can duplicate your points. When you duplicate your points, ensure you change the position or the direction where it is. Yes. Then anywhere you duplicate it, make sure you change the position of the second one so that they are not just on the same place. Alright? So it's just the same step. Control D on the element, then change the position, the X and Y position. That's it. Change the X and Y position. Yes. So yeah, I think. All right. So where did they go from here? Like when once they've done that, I think they can just save their game, right? I think we should save our games. Everyone, can anyone remind me how to save our game? Who wants to remind me how do we save our game? David, you want to try? Okay, how do you save your game?
To save our game, we click on File. We click on File, then look for Save.
Save, exactly. So click on File, everybody. Click on File and click on Save. So everyone, try to save your project so that you don't lose what you've done so far. Click on File, click on Save. All right, so from today, what I want us to be practicing with is just keep changing the color of your background, the color of your enemy, the color of your assets. Okay? Then also keep making it more difficult by adding more points and more enemies. So add more enemies, add more points, change the color of your enemies, change the color of your points. Okay? But try not to make it too difficult, okay? Try not to make it too difficult. Or yes, you can increase the number of enemies and number of points that you have. So has everyone saved their games? Has everyone saved their games? Timnal, have you saved your game? Emmanuel, have you saved your game? All right. So we're rounding up with that today. Are there any questions? So I think tomorrow, Tosin, is there a way for them to export this particular game?
Yes, we'll export it to Windows EXE, which is the available format for us, right?
Format.
To
All
be
right. So
exporting
that's
to
what.
Windows.
Yeah. So tomorrow we'll be exporting our game. Who is excited? I
Me?
am. Yes. All right, everyone. So we're rounding up for today.
All right, then.
I
Thank
want
you,
you to
everyone.
enjoy your Easter. Tell Uncle Tosin thank you, Uncle Tosin.
Thank you, Uncle
Thank
Thank
Tosin.
you.
you too.
See
Do
you
have a great night
tomorrow.
rest. Bye.
Bye.